All right, we're on to month 7, and this block is called Casablanca, and you're going to see the picture right here. So today we're going to be working on the tan version. It's going to look like this. So let's go ahead and go to step 1. So what we're going to do is add a kite to a triangle. So the difference with this one is that usually when we line things up, all of the curves or corners match. You're going to see on this one that there's a little piece right here, and our point sticks down a tiny bit, and they show you that on the picture. So when you sew it, you're going to want to make sure when you open this up that you have a very nice straight line right there. So if you have to practice a couple of times at home, you go ahead and do that. So you're going to make 4 of these units. Okay, so now what we're going to do is if we go to step 2, okay, you're going to have your pieces like this. So they're going to go this way. So again, I'm going to do my pinning version, and this one you kind of have to guess. Okay, to me, that's where a 1/4 inch would be. So I'm going to put my pin right there, and I'm also going to put it where a 1/4 inch would be on this one. And these 2 pieces are going to go like that. And I am going to pin that, my same little method like this. So I'm going to get a second pin in there. I can take this pin out. So again, you will see how I have a point above that. So we're going to sew this together. And I'm going to get down to my pins and just be very careful. And when you open this up, it's going to be like this. So you see how pretty those points come out? You don't want to cut off the point of this one, but we have a really nice area right there, and we still have a 1/4 inch seam for the rest. And again, we are going to press this to the floral piece like that. And then we are going to have all of our other ends down here. And you are going to make 2 of these units. All right, we are on to step 3. So what we're going to do is add the 2 units right here that we made. I have 2 units here. And again, this is one that I am going to pin. So I'm going to go through right here because I can kind of see where those cross. And I'm going to make sure on this side that I have my pin coming through right where those 2 points meet. It's going to go back through where these 2 points meet like that. This pin is going to go straight like that. And then we're going to pin 2 more. And this piece right here. I'm going to take this pin out. Okay, so don't forget, you're going to have a little bit of extra right there. It is going to be fine. All of them do that. So we're going to sew this piece. I'm going to get down here. Like that. Take those out. I'm going to make sure this lines up. Okay, let's see how good our points are. Oh, good job, Becky. Okay, so that's going to be like that. Now, again, I would like to make a pinwheel. You're going to make one of these units. It will measure 6.5 by 6.5. But remember, I ironed everything to the color. So what we're going to do is, you see all this bulk of seams here. We're going to press this that way. And again, it's a different kind of a pinwheel, but you still have a pinwheel there, and you have a lot flatter seam than if you pushed it all one direction. So then you're going to have a beautiful little square like that. All right, on step 5, what we're going to do is this unit right here that we made, we're going to sew it to 2 different sides of this fun circular one that we did. Okay, so I want you to notice that you want this point on this triangle to fit that point. So again, this is where I'm going to use my trusty pins, and I'm going to go where my 1/4 inch seam is right there, and I'm going to make it go right here. Okay, so this one is a little bit different. So when I pin this, I'm going to show you what I do, because you can tell I don't have 2 seams crisscrossing. So I don't know exactly where I want my seam, but because I've pinned these together right there, what I'm going to do is pull my pin out very slowly, try to keep it just in the top piece of fabric, and I'm going to pin it that way. because that way I know that's exactly where I decided my 1/4 inch seam was going to be. So I'm going to pin this one, and we're going to do 2 more pins. 1. And again, we're going to pull this out, and I'm going to put it straight like that, right where my pin was. Okay, so let's sew this and see how we did. I want to make sure that these match. So there is a lot of bias going on this quilt. So you see how I have a little bit of a bubble, but because of the way you iron it sometimes, all you have to do is barely pull. Okay, so you see how my pin is going straight in there because that's right where I want my stitch to go. All right, so we're going to pull these 2 out. Now I have another bubble, but because of the bias on it, I'm going to do this, and it's not really stretching it, it's just making it fit. So when I get to about here, I want to make sure that my seam is going to go right where that pin is. And we should have a perfect seam there with all points matching. I want you to know, even I make major mistakes. The girls that I work with down here, when they hear me say, oh no, they're like, yay. Okay, so let's look at this. So see, once pressed open, you see how it makes that nice, pretty points matching. So we're going to iron this again to the outside like this. And there's that pretty little pinwheel that we were looking at. You're going to make 1 of these units. All right, let's go on to step 6. So in step 6, what we're going to do is we have 2 of these units left. This piece where you did these 2 pieces with the triangle. We have these little, I think they're number 5 squares. We're going to add those 1 to each end of the 2 units that we have left. Okay, they're going to be like that. And we're going to do the same process that we did here. So the only difference is, and I forgot to tell you, you're going to iron this away from the little square, okay, is this seam is going to marry. We're going to use our pins and make sure that edge and that edge match, and then we're going to marry this seam. And you're going to do that on the opposite 2 sides, like this. And so you're going to end up with this square where you have all of the little green triangles are towards this triangle. All right, we are on to step 3. So what we're going to do is add the 2 units right here that we made. I have 2 units here. And again, this is one that I am going to pin. So I'm going to go through right here because I can kind of see where those cross. And I'm going to make sure on this side that I have my pin coming through right where those 2 points meet. It's going to go back through where these 2 points meet like that. This pin is going to go straight like that. And then we're going to pin 2 more. And this piece right here. I'm going to take this pin out. Okay, so don't forget, you're going to have a little bit of extra right there. It is going to be fine. All of them do that. So we're going to sew this piece. I'm going to get down here. Like that. Take those out. I'm going to make sure this lines up. Okay, let's see how good our points are. Oh, good job, Becky. Okay, so that's going to be like that. Now, again, I would like to make a pinwheel. You're going to make 1 of these units. It will measure 6.5 by 6.5. But remember, I ironed everything to the color. So what we're going to do is, you see all this bulk of seams here. We're going to press this that way. And again, it's a different kind of a pinwheel, but you still have a pinwheel there, and you have a lot flatter seam than if you pushed it all one direction. So then you're going to have a beautiful little square like that. All right, so we're on step 7, and what you're going to do in step 7 is you have this 2 by 9.5 inch piece strip. We are going to sew that to 2 opposite sides. So we're going to sew 1 there and 1 here. With the other 2 pieces that you have, you're going to use the rest of the little number 5 squares and sew them on the ends. So it's going to be like this. And what you're going to do is 1 is going to go here and 1 is going to go here. So the only difference is that, so I'm going to sew 1 just to show you. So we're going to We're going to marry this seam. I don't usually pin when I'm going to marry, and then I'm going to show you what I do with the rest. So because of the bias, like I was always telling you, so you see this usually turns out a little bit bigger, but because we have all of this bias here, when I just barely pull it, so I'm going to make sure that this fits, and I'm going to go right to about here, and then I'm going to show you why. So we're going to sew, and I want to keep this to where it's okay. Now I have a point under here, right there, that I want to make sure I don't cut off. So I use my stiletto for this, and I can feel where it is. And you could actually go like this and make sure you have there's my point right there. So the reason I like this stiletto, it kind of sticks there without leaving any kind of a hole. And I'm going to stitch right to there. And then that should encompass that really nicely. And then again, I'm going to make sure that this is lined up for marrying. I'm going to sew all the rest of the way down. And then have my ends meet. And we should end up with a very pretty block. Let's look at this. Let's get rid of these hairs. Okay, let's look and see how we did. Pretty good. So you have these that you've married, makes a really nice corner, and then you've got your point and another one. And when I do this, now this one, I believe I pressed to the strips like this way. I tried to do a pinwheel here, but what happens is when you do that, this has to press this way, and then you've got a big bulk seam right there. So this one I made no pinwheel, I pressed them all to the outside. So let's look at my finished block so you guys can see. So you see how all of this is pressed to the outside, and voila, we have a beautiful block. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you get really accomplished with your 2 blocks that you're doing. And if not, call the store. Someone will be there to help you. Thank you.